Hey, hello guys and welcome in a new video. In the last video we talked about the file module with Ansible, and in this video we'll see a script that can help you to develop your roles or your infra as code with Ansible. So if you want, you can subscribe to my channel to not miss the next video. And what do you need to develop with Ansible? So first of all, obviously we need to have some virtual machines to check which action will be done with your code. So this VM must be dropped and recreated easily, like a container. You must have systemd into your virtual machine to check start and stop services and simulate a virtual machine run. So you must have your SSH key into your virtual machine, your public key and not a private key, to use Ansible, and Ansible use SSH to push your code, and you want to instantiate it more quickly as possible. So this is why we want to use Docker container. In Docker container, we can build an image with the systemd package, and we can add SSH server to do SSH with Docker container. We can run more quickly many containers, and to help us we can use a script, and you can add your key into the container, not into the image but into the container, to allow you to use SSH with Docker container. So this is why I introduce you a script and a Dockerfile to help you to do it. If you go into the link is into the video description, you can find three files, but two new files, a Dockerfile and a bash script. So the Dockerfile use Debian 10 version, and we set into it some environment variable, not very important, and after very important, we install some packages like systemd, Python 3, because we want to use Ansible with Python 3, and we install OpenSSH server and client, but server is more important. And after it, we remove some files with apt cache to have a lighter image. After it, we permit the root login. If you want to use root user with your SSH connection, we add another user when we run the next script. But if you want to debug, you can use root, but it's not secure, but it's very useful. After it, we remove some file and directory because we install systemd, and systemd is use currently to use a kernel, but container does not have a specific kernel, and use the kernel of the host simply. After it, we create the symlink to allow this container to run the init, to have an init process into our container, and we set the target of this init, and after it we set the root password, and the default password is simply password. And after it we mount this fs cgroup, and we added an entry point to run systemd as a first process into our container. If you want to run, you can build this image with Docker build, and you can specify your registry and push it into the registry. And after, if you want to run this image, you can use this command, docker run, and you must have some capabilities, net admin capabilities and sysadmin capabilities. After, to help us, and if you want, you can add -- publish all to publish all the port of all container run with this command. To help us, we mount a volume to share some directory or files with our container, and very important, we mount cgroup into our container with read-only option, very important, and you can set a name and the host name into the container, and if you want, you can use my image on the Docker Hub. Priximo is my user. So after it, to help you to run this container and instantiate it, I introduce you a script named deploy.sh. It is a bash script, and I have write a help function if you want to display some option. After it, we have a function to create a container. I name this function create node because we create some VM, some container as VM. We do some operation to see if we have already run the script, and we have some container run with this script, to check the last ID, and if we not have already run this script, we start with the ID 1, but if we have already run this script, we start with the next number after the max number with the last command. The docker ps check the check containers with the name with -debian, and we added the user of dollar user. The user of the session. Okay, and after it we run a container. To do it, we run the last command, docker run, with a privilege, and publish all port, mount C group with read-only option. We add a name for each container. The name is the name of the user of the session, dash Debian dash a number, incremental number, the same name to the host name, and the specific image. After we do some docker exec command here. First, to add a user with the user run the script, who runs the script, like me, because in our container we want two users. The default user, the root user into the image with dockerfile, and after, with this command, we create another user. This is the user of the session who run this script. We add the same password like root here. The default password is password not secure. We do another docker exec, and we create in our home .ssh directory. We change mod and change own, and after it we add it with the docker cp command, our public key from the host to the container. Okay, and after it we change the mod to 600 and change the user of the authorized keys file. Okay. After it, to help us to run Ansible, we want to do elevation of permissions, and to do it more easily, we set our user, like here, into etc sudoers to no password. Okay, because we want into the container we want to do sudo without password simply. And after it, to activate it, we must start SSH server. Okay. This is to create a node, but if you want, you can remove some nodes and some containers. And to do it, we must list all containers with this prefix $users-debian, and this is how we name containers run with this script. Okay, to drop, if you restart your laptop or your computer, you want to restart your container. I had a function to do it, start nodes, and into it we list containers, and we do docker start, and after it we check we ensure SSH service is starting. If you want, we have a function to collect some information about the container. Only one information at now. This is the IP of container. Okay, and to help us to run and to do Ansible more quickly, we had another function, create Ansible. This function use the list of IP and add it into an inventory file, this one, and add this container into all group. If you want, we can test the script, and to do it I go into a terminal. Let's go. So I have deploy.sh, and if I tell -- create and specify 3 or 4 container, for example, when I do it, Docker create 4 container, and after to do it, he list the IP of each for each container. Sorry. And after it, if you want, you can run -- Ansible. So if you check before, we have just 3 files, no directory, and if you do -- when we do ls, we can find another directory, and if you go into it, you can check we have an inventory file. If I check the content of this file, I can find group var, all group, sorry. I specify var for Ansible Python interpreter to use Python 3, and after I add for the script add for IP and node with the IP, not the DNS, but it's very simple to use it like it. And if you check, we have group vars and host vars directory, empty directory, but it's easy to create it with the script, and I prefer to create it with the script if you want to use it after when you develop your code. So if you want to test, now you can do Ansible -i inventory file, and if you want, you can use a module, the ping module. Sorry, yes, Ansible pattern. Sorry, all here, all group. And now, if you check, we have four target server who accept Ansible to ping with SSH ping. If you want, you can connect to these servers with SSH command like this, SSH, an IP, one of the 4 IP, for example, this one. And now we are into, if you do hostname command, we are into this container, Oki-Debian-3. Oki is my user into the session on the host server, and the script have created this user into my container with my SSH key. If I check, if I do -la in .ssh, I can see authorized key, and if I check authorized key like this, I can find my public key into it. Okay. If you want, if you forget how to connect to this container with SSH, you can use root access. Password is password, and you can connect into this container with password with root user. Okay. And if you want to remove and recreate these containers, you can do deploy script -- drop. Yes. Deploy .sh -- drop. We have removed 4 containers, and if you want to recreate another container, you can do create 6, for example, and we have now 6 containers like virtual machines to develop with Ansible. It's all. That's all. If you want, you can find this slide with the link into the description of this video. Thank you for watching this video. Don't miss the next one, and I say you goodbye.